Welcome to this edition of Alexander County Now. In this episode, we will speak with Dr. Jennifer Hefner, who is the new superintendent for Alexander County Schools. We'll also learn more about the Alexander County Fair, which is coming up September 2nd through the 6th. We'll talk with Rick Lail about that. We're also going to talk about Arts Appreciation Month with Pete Woods and Miss Mel from the Library. And we'll also tell you all about the upcoming events coming up in the month of August. All this and more on this edition of Alexander County Now. Dr. Jennifer Hefner, she was recently announced as the new superintendent for Alexander County Schools. We're going to talk to her, learn more about her as a person, but also learn more about her plans for the future of Alexander County Schools.
My name is Jennifer Hefner, and I am the brand new superintendent in the Alexander County school system. I was born in Catawba County, and at the age of about 2.5, my family moved to Alexander County. I grew up in the Ellendale community and attended Ellendale Elementary School. Some of my family members, you may know, I am the daughter of Quez and Kay Fry, and I have a unique family. I am a product of a blended family, and what I mean by that is my parents both had children coming into that marriage. So my father had 3 children, my mom had 1 daughter, and I am the oldest of their 3 children. So I think the thing that makes us somewhat unique is that we always joked about we were yours, mine, and ours. And but the bottom line is that we are a strong family, very supportive, and I'm very lucky to have my family. I consider myself a lifelong resident of Alexander County, considering my family moved here when I was 2.5. I attended Ellendale Elementary School, West Alexander, it was junior high then, and I attended and graduated from Alexander Central High School in 1986. Well, I have a rather unique journey as far as my education. I was one of those children who I was successful in high school, made good grades, high grades, but when it came time to decide what I wanted to do after graduation, I made a decision to go right into the workforce. I thought I would make my mark and work my entire life and be satisfied, live happily ever after. So in February of my senior year, I shared with my parents that I had decided not to go to college. And actually I followed in my mom's footsteps. She worked at a local furniture factory in Alexander County in the office. There she was a self-service representative. And so I graduated from high school on a Friday evening. It was a beautiful Friday evening, and I started to work on Monday. There was no beach trip or anything of that nature, no big graduation party. I just started what I thought would be the work of my life. And I was hired at Clayton Marcus Furniture Company as their production clerk, and I worked there for several months before I rethought my decision to skip college. And the reason for that is because I found it very difficult to live on $4.25 an hour. And I saw myself repeating some patterns that I had grown up with. It had been a financial struggle in our family. As I said, I'm from a blended family of 7 children, and it takes a lot of money to raise and support 7 children. And poverty was something that I had grown accustomed to, but that didn't mean that I had to like it, and it certainly was not the way I wanted to live the rest of my life. So about 3 months into this job, I rethought some things, and actually I thought, you know, you've really messed up, Jennifer. How are you going to fix this? And I spent several months pondering, how do you fix deciding not to go on to school after high school? And mustered up the courage to check into some things at Catawba Valley Community College. And in looking into what it takes to become, at that time it was a technical college, what it takes to become a student even at a technical college level, and what I found was I had to take some placement tests so that they could steer me to the right classes. And I remember going to CVCC, and I so wish I could remember the person who helped me there in the admissions department, because they treated me with a lot of kindness. I remember that I spoke with a female, and she was so kind, so encouraging, helped me get everything scheduled. And the big day came where I had to go over and take my placement test, and then things just started happening. So I had worked at Clayton Marcus for a year before I ever took the placement test and got scheduled as far as taking any classes. And the funny thing is, I was successful in high school. I graduated as an honor graduate, not the very top of my class by any means, but I did well. And it's just funny how your self-esteem and your self-confidence, even when you've been successful, sometimes you still question those things. So I thought, how in the world will I work all day and go to school? And how could I manage that? And I was afraid. I was afraid of failure, that I wouldn't be successful. And something, what people will find about me is that's very important, that when I set goals, that I reach them. So the only way that I knew to do that was to schedule one class at a time. So they didn't have a semester at that point, and I don't remember what it was called. It didn't run as an exact semester, but I would schedule one class per term. And as I said, I worked all day. I worked 40 hours a week. I would leave straight from Clayton Marcus to make a class in the evening, and I would take that class, come home and start working on homework, go to bed, get up the next day, and do it all over again. Well, I did that for a year. So I'm still working full-time. I'm going to school, taking one class per term at CVCC, and it just wasn't very fulfilling. So I start doing a little research and questioning, what do I really want to do with my life? And the funniest thing, my dad, as long as he was living, he subscribed to the Taylorsville Times. And I was talking to him one day, just kind of off the cuff about, I'm not really happy doing what I'm doing. I'm certainly not making enough money to make a decent living. And I want to change. I'm going to school. I just want to try something different. And he suggested to me, he said, well, I saw in the Times that there are some vacancies in the school system. And I said, vacancies doing what? You know, what kind of credentials do I have to work in a school system? And he said, I don't know, but I saw that they had some teacher assistant vacancies. And I think maybe you should apply. And I looked at him and I said, Dad, why in the world would I want to apply to be a teacher assistant? You know, why would I want to do that? And he looks at me and he said, well, Jennifer, state employees have really great benefits. Well, when you're 19 and 20 years old, you're not really thinking a lot about benefits. So I said, benefits? What do you mean they have great benefits? And he said, they have a great retirement system. You know, you can retire after you've worked 30 years, and they have great health insurance and all those things. Well, I started thinking, well, that may not be such a bad deal. So believe it or not, I apply for the teacher assistant position. I didn't even know at that time where it was, but I was scheduled an interview with Mr. Joel Blackburn at Sugarloaf Elementary School. And I remember being so terrified. I did not know Mr. Blackburn. I really knew nothing about the employees in the school system other than the ones that I had encountered being a student in this county. But scheduled the interview, and I interviewed with him. And some people don't know this, but I did not get hired for that position immediately. Actually, I was called and told that another person had been hired, someone who had been a volunteer in the school for a long time and that sort of thing. So my hopes of change were deflated, but as luck would have it, about 2 weeks later, I was called. The school year had already begun. This other person had already been hired in the position. I just accepted my fate and continued working at Clayton Marcus. But about 2 weeks after school started, I got a call from Mr. Blackburn saying, we've looked at our student enrollment, and student enrollment is high enough that we are going to be able to add an additional teacher assistant. And he said, are you still interested in the job? And I said, are you kidding? I'll give my notice today. And he said, when can you start? And I've always believed that when you sign on for something, you see it through. So I told him that I felt the need to work at least a 2-week notice at my current job. And then I would be ready to start at Sugarloaf Elementary School. And I've reflected back on that opportunity where the journey really began many times. And I'm not sure what Joel Blackburn saw in me when I interviewed, because I can't imagine that I was that wonderful. I think that probably I was average at best, but it really was a life changer for me, because what happened was I started working there as a teacher assistant and a substitute bus driver. Sally Goodnight was my supervising teacher. And it was like a spark went off inside me, and I fell in love with those children. I fell in love with the model of school, of being a teacher assistant, helping children. And it was like I had the answer to the question, what do I want to do with the rest of my life? And the thing is, Sally Goodnight was such a good mentor to me, such a good teacher leader. She taught me, she trusted me, she let me work in reading groups with children. And suddenly I found myself not long into that position thinking, I know what I want to do with this college work. I want to turn it up at CVCC, take more classes each term, and be able to transfer somewhere so that I can get a teaching degree. Because suddenly I found myself desiring to be the teacher in the classroom, not just the teacher assistant. And so I started taking 2 classes each term. And it was like the more that I did that, the more classes that I would take, I was being successful. My confidence started to grow. I got impatient. I started looking into what are my options when I leave CVCC, where can I transfer? And again, my life has never been one of luxury. I have always worked, as I said. I started working 2 days after high school graduation. And truth be told, I started working at the age of 12, a paying job. And if you wonder, what in the world would a 12-year-old do? Well, this 12-year-old caught chickens out of a chicken house every 3 months when they had a new flock, and you would take the flock and then they would go to like a layer house and that sort of thing. So I've worked a paying job of sort since I was 12 years old. So I've never had the luxury of not working, not even that I wanted it. I've always taken pride in the fact that I know how to work hard, and I learned that early in my life. So I decided to continue working. I didn't have another option. I looked at programs. I wanted to go to Appalachian, but at that time, Appalachian did not offer any kind of evening program to earn a bachelor's degree. And I ended up at Lenoir-Rhyne. And Lenoir-Rhyne was an expense for me. It's a private institution, more expensive than a state institution. And again, I don't have the luxury of money or somebody helping me along the way, so I applied for student loans. And I registered to go to Lenoir-Rhyne University. At that time, it was Lenoir-Rhyne College. I transitioned from CVCC to Lenoir-Rhyne. I continued in their evening program. I would go to class in the evenings, do homework at night and on the weekends, and then the journey continued from there. I have pretty much gone to school my entire life, but I'd really like to talk about what happened professionally in the meantime. I transitioned to Lenoir-Rhyne College at that time. It has since then become Lenoir-Rhyne University. I was taking evening classes, working all day, again working a 40-hour job, doing homework at night and on the weekends. And I was never a full-time student until my last summer semester. And what I find about myself is I get impatient toward the end to get things finished. because I could see that another school year in Alexander County was about to begin. And I'm thinking forward about timing, and I know that they're going to hire teachers and that sort of thing. So what ended up happening, again, I'm working as a teacher assistant at this time at Bethlehem Elementary School. I'm driving a bus. I continued to do that. And I'm thinking forward, how do I make this happen so that I'm ready to be employed when school starts in August of 1993. So I have to double up on classes. And what ended up happening, the summer semester that I graduated, I had to carry about 21 hours. That year I had to double up so much that I had to do that. So it was just incredible, the amount of schoolwork that I was trying to crank out that year and that summer. But I did it and ended up graduating on August 13th, 1993. Well, if you look back on the calendar, you'll see that that was a Friday. So Friday the 13th. And if you're superstitious, I guess that would have bothered you, but I was so excited to graduate and interview for a teaching position to start in August that I couldn't stand it. So I get over to graduation that day, they line us up. I ended up being 13th in line. So I guess you know my lucky number is 13. But I graduate and interview, and I was fortunate enough to be hired in August to teach 6th grade at Bethlehem. Started working with an amazing teaching team over there. We started something at the elementary level called the middle school concept, and we didn't even know that it was the middle school concept. But I taught primarily math and loved it. Had 5 incredible years as a teacher at Bethlehem. And in the meantime, I started working on a master's degree at Appalachian State because, again, what I find is if I get a little bit bored, I find myself wanting more. Not that teaching was boring. It was very fulfilling and I loved it. But I needed more. I needed a little bit of a challenge. So my options were to either go to a different school and teach a different grade level, or to think about something else. And Dr. Warren Holler was the principal at Bethlehem. And there was something about that man. Have you ever met someone who just makes you want to be more than you are? They make you want to be a better person. And Dr. Warren Holler was that person for me. He made me want more. He had high expectations, and I learned so much from him. But in watching him and the way that he led Bethlehem Elementary School, I toyed with the idea. I said to myself, Jennifer, you just might want to be a principal someday. So I checked into classes at Appalachian State. I got enrolled in their master's degree program. Started there in a cohort. I had never been in a cohort model before, but I'm certainly an advocate of that model. And what that means is you start the journey with a group of people and you stay with that group of people until you're finished. And so we started classes in the fall of, at that time, I guess it would have been 1996. And worked together as a group, as a cohort, and finished up in 1999 with a master's degree. And at that time, you were not employable as an assistant principal or principal until that degree was finished. And not only did you have to have all of your coursework finished, you had to take an examination. And so I jumped through all those hoops and was hired at Bethlehem as the assistant principal. So again, I got to work with amazing people. I got to continue learning from Dr. Holler, and it was incredible. He taught me so much, and I remember when he announced that he was planning to retire. I thought, he's kidding. There is no way this wonderful man, this icon at Bethlehem Elementary and the Bethlehem community, there's no way that he's going to retire and leave us. But he was serious about that. And he planned to retire at the end of the school year in 2000. And he just had some candid conversations with me. And he said, Jennifer, I've watched you grow. I see what you're capable of, and you are capable of leading this school, and I think you should apply for the principalship. And I said, well, do you have any reservations about me being a teacher assistant and bus driver in this school, a teacher in this school? At one point, I was even called a curriculum specialist because I had not completed that master's degree yet. An assistant principal in this school, and then also be a principal. And you just don't see that very often, a person who stays in the same place and walks in all those different shoes. And he said, most of the time, I would not suggest that. But he said, I think you have the qualities that you could pull it off. And so I thought, I have nothing to lose. I'm very happy where I am. I'll apply and interview for this position, and if I don't get it, I'm happy here. I'm happy staying here as the assistant principal and continuing to learn and to grow. And so I interviewed. I was hired, and the day that I got the call saying, you will be the principal at Bethlehem, June 1st, 2000, I had a lot of mixed emotions. I was happy. I was sad to see Dr. Holler leave us. I was a little bit afraid because, again, you think you can do it, but you don't know for sure. You're confident that you can. And Dr. Holler and I had some time to work together to make that transition because I got the call at the board. It was after the board meeting in May. So we had a couple weeks that we could work on this transition. And the thing that I admire about Warren Holler to this day is how he handled that transition. Because what I have found since is that some leaders have a very difficult time walking away and letting the new leader step into those shoes. But he met with me on the last Friday that he worked. And he said, Jennifer, when you walk into this office, and we were in his office, and it was Warren Holler. Everything in that office spoke of Warren Holler. He was so organized. He had a notebook for everything, documentation for everything. He said, when you walk in here Monday morning, it's yours. This office is your office. And he said, you'll find it cleaned out, and my keys, which will then be your keys, will be on the desk waiting for you. And I remember I didn't quite know what to say because there was a little part of me that thought, how will he leave us? Just, you know, the office will be empty with nothing but keys on the desk. How will he do that? He told me that day, though, when I said, what do I do if I need you? And he said, I won't be back. He said, because if I physically come back to this school, it gives a mixed message, and staff here will question, well, is he still the principal or did he retire? And he said, that is not fair to you as the new leader in this school. So he said, I won't be back to this school physically for a long, long time. And I'm going to do that purposefully, but I'm doing it to help you. He said, but you can call me anytime, night or day. If you need me, I'm here for you. And he had just been an incredible mentor and had groomed me and allowed me to grow and had let me be a leader in that school, encouraged me to be a leader. And so that weekend, I kind of dreaded all weekend walking into the office. But the funniest thing, I walked into the office bright and early that Monday morning, and he told the truth. The keys, the desk was clean, not one thing on it, not even a speck of dust. Every shelf, with the exception of test data, had been cleaned out. It was gone. The drawers were empty except for the personnel information that had to be kept and that sort of thing. But not only did I see the keys, and there was a big wad of them because Bethlehem was a big school, so there was a key for everything. There was a big wad of keys, but there was a small piece of paper sitting on the middle of the desk. and I immediately go over to see what is on that paper. And it was a list of reminders for me of what I needed to remember as I took the principalship of that school. And I get a little bit emotional, because what Dr. Holler doesn't understand is that list is still with me every day. It's under an area of my desk, and I look at it routinely, because number one, the first reminder was be yourself. And it listed 13 things for me to do, one of which, down further on the list, is sharpen your saw. Because he always used that term, because he reminded me often, he would say, Jennifer, life is a circle, and you have to remember the circle of life. And he said, work cannot be your entire life. He said, there are things outside of this work that you need to focus on too, and you need to do that for you as a person. And he always told me to be a strong leader, you had to keep in balance that circle of life. But I keep that list with me to this day. I revisit it. Most of the time it's late in the evening when I have time to reflect and think about, did I accomplish anything today? Did I make Dr. Warren Holler proud today? Did I make my family proud? Did I make this school system proud? And I go back to that list, and it always gives me focus. And it's just, he has always been a champion for me. And on this journey, there have been many champions. And I did not do this alone. And he played a very big role in my success. I want to talk just a minute about the principalship at Bethlehem and how satisfying that was. I was actually the principal there for 9 years. And in looking back, sometimes I think that we realize that the best days of our lives have possibly passed when you look back on the past. And those 9 years were very happy for me, very rewarding. I probably did possibly my best work as a principal. I just know that I loved that school family. They were awfully good to me. And something that made them so special is that sometimes people, after you've had a strong leader and you follow a strong leader, you're always wondering, do I live up to the expectation of the staff? Am I meeting their needs? Am I as strong a leader as they need here to continue to be successful? But what I have to credit that staff with is that when I transitioned to the principalship, honestly, over that 9-year period, I never heard anyone say to me, well, Dr. Holler did it this way, more than maybe 2 or 3 times in a 9-year career there as principal. And I think that speaks to the staff too, because it's easy to compare one leader to another. And as I said, Dr. Holler was a strong leader, and following him was intimidating, but those were the best years of my life. And the school family made it so special, but the children, being able to be around children every day, there's something healing about that. There's something for me that has always been nourishing, refreshing, exciting, because children are children. And I lost my father during the time that I was principal at Bethlehem. And I remember his death and funeral, and it took place over about a 3-day period. And when you're the principal, you have to get back in the saddle in a hurry. You don't have the luxury when you're the leader to take a lot of time away, because people, they expect you to be their leader and they need you. So within about a 3-day period, I reported back to work. And I remember sitting in my office that morning thinking, oh my, what kind of day will this be? Because I'm still grieving for my dad. His loss was hard for our family. And I remember thinking, oh my, I have to go and report to car duty in just a minute, because I pulled car duty every morning of the 9-year tenure. And some people said, Jennifer, why do you do this? Why do you greet the cars? Why do you greet the children every morning? But that was the highlight of the day. So I'm thinking, I need to get out on car duty. And I heard the front office door open, and I heard little feet pitter-pattering to my office. And it was 3 children who had learned of my dad's death, and they brought me a plant that morning and a little card that said they were sorry. And I thought, you know what, gal, you get back in the saddle. You quit feeling sorry for yourself. You have children here in much, much worse circumstances than you're in. Because here you are in your 30s and you've lost a parent. Some of these children, they don't even know their parents. They're being raised by grandparents. Sometimes they're being raised by people they don't even know because they're in foster homes. You get out there, you put on your happy face, you thank God that you're here and that you're in the right place. You be around these children because they will help you heal, and they're depending on you. And the child-centered part of this journey has been the best. I love people. I love being around people and working with people, but the children part of this job is what makes it so special. And sometimes you leave positions and people assume that it was for a bad reason, that you were not happy or something of that nature. But I left the principalship not because I was unhappy. Those were wonderful experiences and wonderful days. But again, I got that itch that I needed a little more and that I thought I could do a little bit more on a broader spectrum. So while I was principal at Bethlehem, I again went back to school at Appalachian State University and started working on an educational specialist degree. And what was so appealing to me about that degree is they again offered a cohort program. I'm a big fan of cohorts. And what they promised that cohort is that all the hours that were earned in the EDS program, if you so chose to go into a doctorate there at ASU, all of those hours would transfer straight into a doctoral program. So I started the EDS with no intention of ever pursuing a doctorate. See, in my life, what I have found is I'll start something and I don't really intend the outcome. I just live it every day, and wonderful things have just happened. But I did complete the EDS degree and decided as part of that cohort, some of my buddies, that we would go ahead after a small break in time and go ahead and pursue the doctorate. But also, again, that career itch where I wanted to do something else, and I transitioned to the central office here in Alexander County. And I worked as a director of elementary education, Title I, and K-12 student services. And again, with the intent that I would be a leader in this school system at a different level, touching hopefully more adults and more children and making a difference. I was in the position as the Director of Elementary Education, Title I and K-12 Student Services for 3 years. And in the meantime, finished a doctorate. By the grace of God, finished my doctorate in December of 2011, and that was certainly a highlight for me personally and professionally. And because you're not required to have a doctorate to be a superintendent, but it is certainly looked upon favorably now as far as having that credential. Not every superintendent in North Carolina has the credential of doctorate, but I did finish that in 2011. And as I worked as a director, finishing up that degree and that sort of thing, I aspired to do more. I aspired to be an associate superintendent and then eventually a superintendent. Now, did I ever dream that all of that would happen here in Alexander County? Not really. But again, things just evolved, they happened, and wonderful things have happened in this journey. So that's a long story, of how all that has played out in my work and personal journey. The day after being named superintendent, I must tell you I'm still riding on somewhat of a high, an emotional high. The things that I felt last night at the board meeting were two emotions primarily, excitement and hope. And the excitement comes in, I just see so much potential in this school system. I see so much potential in Alexander County. I have a love for both the school system and Alexander County. And my hope is that I will be able to be the leader that will make a difference for the children, the staff, and just the county overall. That's what gets me out of the bed every morning, is that hope that today's the day, that I will make positive change, I will make decisions that are good for these children and for the county, and that I will make a difference, because I truly believe that public schools are special places. This public school system is very special because we take all children. We don't pick and choose. We take everybody who comes to us. And I just feel like that I am a product of this school system. I'm certainly a working member of the school system currently. And my hope is that I will be able to give back over a period of time so that we can replay the kind of experiences that I have had. The relationships that have been formed with my teachers, I can go back as early as elementary school at Ellendale Elementary. And Vivia Klein taking an interest in me, showing that she cared about me. Already, even at the age of 11 and 12, I was in her classroom for 2 years, 5th and 6th grades at Ellendale. She gave me leadership opportunities, and it was nothing more than grading papers. So maybe the desire to be a teacher started in 5th and 6th grade, and I didn't even know it. Because I'm not one of those people who will tell you, oh, as a child I played school every day because I've always dreamed of being a teacher. I really didn't dream of being a teacher. That just kind of happened. As I said earlier, it just kind of evolved in life. And I realized I love this. This is what I want to do. But just the relationships that have been formed, elementary, middle, and high school, and then people taking a chance on me, hiring me in different positions, I want to give that back. And I want every child in this school system to have somebody who cares about them, who is committed to them, and is passionate that they'll make a difference in their lives. And that is how we shape, and that is how we make a difference and we make improvements. And I just want for children in this school system the same things that I have been afforded. In my role as Associate Superintendent, I was allowed the opportunity to start heading up the new strategic plan for Alexander County's school system. And we have about 35 or 40 people working in a variety of subgroups, but we've had lots of meetings, lots of conversations, and as a group we have decided that moving forward, when school starts in August 2014, we will have 6 primary areas that we are going to focus. And when I say that, this strategic plan, we've all agreed, needs to serve as the framework for the work that we do every day. So that when we're making decisions, when we're spending money, when we're hiring personnel, when we're purchasing educational programs, we need to ask, how does this fit into our strategic plan and our vision and mission? But the 6 priority areas moving forward in Alexander County's school system will be student success. If children are successful, if they feel successful, if they experience success, they are much more likely to graduate from high school. And that is what we want. We want to graduate all of our children college and career ready. So student success is going to be a big focus for us. We're talking about how do we move into an educational environment where seat time is not the most important thing, but it's what children can do at the end of a learning experience. And it doesn't matter, you know, that learning can go on online in online courses, virtually. We're going to talk about outside of the box of what we have done for a long time in this school system, and we're going to ask, what can learning be for children in the 21st century? And it should not look like what it did 50 years ago. So as we're talking about student success, we're having those conversations and building goals and strategies that will help us be a stronger school system. But we're going to focus on student success. Literacy is a biggie for us. It's a big priority, because what we know is children who cannot read and read well and comprehend well, they struggle in all areas of academic life. And we're going to make it a focus that literacy is important to us beginning in pre-K, before children ever get into the school system officially, whether they're in a child care facility, whether they're in an NC pre-K classroom, Head Start classroom. We want literacy to be a focus before they ever start kindergarten. And that focus has to continue even up until graduation and beyond, because we want children who can be successful at the college level. So literacy is our second focus. The third focus, professional excellence. We have a high standard in Alexander County, and we want to hire the very best teachers, the very best teacher assistants, custodians, bus drivers, cafeteria workers, administrators. It's across the board. We want the best, most dedicated, qualified people in those positions, because professional excellence does play a part in how successful we are. Technology must be a focus for us as we move forward, so that's the fourth priority area. And we just really feel like that we can transform learning, and we can transform the learning environment through technology. And we all know technology is a big part of our lives, outside of the workday, outside of the school day, and if it's a big part outside of those hours, it will have to be a big part within. So we know that our classrooms, that we have to put money into infrastructure and buying devices and making sure that children know how to maneuver through a learner management system, because those are the things that they will face when they graduate from high school and transition into the college setting. And we want them to have skills to be successful in those settings. We want to focus on partnerships. We know that as a school system, we don't do this alone. We do it as a team, and we need to have strong partners with our business community, with our faith-based community, with all aspects of the Alexander County, just the county in general, but in all those different communities that make up Alexander County. So we are pursuing partners to help us in this educational journey, and so that will be the fifth focus. And the sixth focus for us will be operations. We want to operate at an optimal level with our school food services, with school safety, with different areas of operation within the school system itself. So those are the 6 priorities that we will have in the strategic plan as we move forward. But the thing that I want to, I guess, focus on the most is that we have decided to focus on, I guess, maybe a title, an intent, or something. Our motto in Alexander County has always been children first. And everyone who's worked on this strategic plan, they said, Jennifer, that's what makes us special in this school system, is when we make decisions that put children first, we make good decisions. So they wanted to keep the motto, but what we've decided to name the strategic plan is Alexander County School System, Every Child's Chance, Alexander County's Future. And to work toward making the connection between the two, because when we give children the chance to be successful and we help them reach goals and that sort of thing, then we do impact Alexander County's future. And that is what this school system, that's a premise for the school system itself. I also want to thank the Alexander County School Board. They've taken a chance on me. And let's face it, I'm a new face, even though I'm a 26-year veteran of this school system. I'm the first female superintendent that we've ever had in Alexander County, and I take great pride in that. And the school board, they've taken a chance on me, and they've had confidence in me, and I will work every day to make them proud. That I can commit to, but I will not do this alone. I am part of a team, and what you'll find about my leadership, that it's not unique, but it's mine, and that is I enjoy being part of a team. I don't really accomplish a whole lot on my own. You know, you hear the adage, there is no I in team. That's true. I like having conversations, sitting around a table with a group of people and brainstorming, coming up with how can we do this better. And I really just, every day from this point forward, I will be committed to working as a team to make this school system stronger and the people within it. I've talked a lot about that. This has not happened. My journey to the superintendency, I didn't do it alone. I did it through people who have been champions for me and with me. I work with an amazing group of people here at the central office. We have some incredible principals and administrators, teachers, and that is what makes this school system a place where I have wanted to be for 26 years, and I hope to be here for many more to come. And I just look forward to the potential and the possibilities that are ahead of us, and most of all, I look forward to working together so that we can make this school system stronger and make a difference for every child who's in it. Alexander County is a wonderful place to live, work, play, and learn.
Thanks so much, Jennifer. We look forward to working with you in the future. We know you'll do a great job for our students and our school system as a whole. Up next, we're going to talk to Rick Lail, who's going to tell us more about the Alexander County Agricultural Fair, which is in its 69th year here in Alexander County.
Rides, games, and food and fun, that's what you'll find. Plus a lot more at the Taylorsville Lions Club 69th Annual Alexander County Agricultural Fair, set for September 2nd through the 6th at the Lions Club Fairgrounds. This year's fair includes a wide variety of rides and games provided by inter-shows, in addition to many entertaining activities planned by the Lions Club. On Tuesday, September 2nd, gates will open at 5 p.m. with an opening ceremony at 6 p.m. with guest speaker Kevin Hardison from the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services, as well as remarks from county and town dignitaries. All That Dance will perform at 7 p.m., followed by a big talent show at 8 p.m. Open to anyone with any talent, the show will be judged by audience applause, with the top 20 to return on Thursday for the finals. The fair closes at 10 o'clock on Tuesday. Gates also open at 5 p.m. on Wednesday, September 3rd for Latino Night. At 6 p.m. there will be a sheep and goat show, with the fair closing at 10 p.m. Thursday, September 4th is a special day as the Lions Club hosts a Special Needs Day event from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Gates will open to the general public at 5 p.m. that day, and the Fireman's Challenge to begin at 6 p.m. This challenge is for all fire departments within Alexander County, and the winning department receiving the championship trophy for display at their station until next year's challenge. In addition, there will be a cow and rabbit show at 6 p.m. The top 20 finalists from Tuesday's night talent show will take the stage again at 7 p.m. and the audience will determine the winner. The fair will close at 10 p.m. that night. On Friday, September 5th, gates will open at 4 p.m. A bingo game will be held at 6:30 p.m. with a free concert featuring Shook Lane at 8 o'clock. This Alexander County band is sure to entertain with their mixture of southern rock and outlaw country music. The fair will close at 11 p.m. on Friday. The final day of the fair will be Saturday, September 6th, which begins with a backyard grill-off at 1 p.m. for those interested in competing for top griller. For a $25 entry fee, area residents can participate in a cook-off which includes beef, poultry, and pork. Participants must be set up and cooking by 4 o'clock. The judging at 7:30 p.m., the first place contestant will receive a 30% refund of their entry fee, while second place will receive 15% and third place will receive 5%. Gates will open to the general public at 4 p.m. Another evening of bingo is planned to start at 6:30, with a lawnmower race and barnyard dance at 7 p.m. The fair will close at 11 p.m. on Saturday. Each evening, children may participate in a scavenger hunt, which they will find hidden words throughout the fairgrounds. All children who finish the hunt will be entered into a drawing for 2 new bicycles. In addition, a $25 gift card will be given away each evening. This year's fair is an excellent opportunity for local farmers to show off their prized livestock and gardening, as well as time for local residents to show their talents in cooking and quilting. The Taylorsville Lions Club is proud to have held the Alexander County Agricultural Fair every year since 1946. This fair is a fundraising project for the club and is not a function of government. Proceeds from the fair help pay for the cost of putting on the event, buildings, and ground maintenance at the fairgrounds, with the remainder going towards the Lions Club's humanitarian objectives, including providing eyeglasses for those who need, supporting the Brighter Visions program, sending VIPs to Camp Dogwood, providing the Atwell Alexander Taylorsville Lions Club scholarship, and more. Over the years, the smaller county fairs have dwindled mainly due to the rising cost of private carnival companies. The Taylorsville Lions Club is pleased to have made any agreement with intershows for this year's Midway. However, carnival companies are becoming increasingly hesitant to come to small county as the company struggles to meet its own cost. Community participation in the fair is extremely important as it makes it possible to attract the carnival. So bring your friends and family out to the fair this year for some fun right here in Alexander County and support your local Lions Club. For more information, call 828-632-2226 or visit www.taylorsvillelionsclub.org. The Taylorsville Lions Club Fairgrounds is located at 170 Fairgrounds Road off NC Hwy 16 south of Taylorsville.
Rick, thank you so much for your hard work on the fair this year. I know it's going to be a great event, and we encourage all the people in Alexander County and surrounding counties to come out and support our fair and the Lions Club and the great work that you do. So thanks again, Rick. We're going to speak with Pete Woods and Miss Mel. Pete is with the Hiddenite Center, and Miss Mel, of course, she's the children's librarian with the Alexander County Library System. This is Arts Appreciation Month, and so they're going to tell us about some things they've got going on and how the arts support our local economy.
I'm Pete Woods with the Hiddenite Center.
And I'm Melissa Miss Mel Hager from the Alexander County Library.
We're here to talk to you about the celebration that's happening in August around the arts. August is Arts Appreciation Month and will be celebrated here in Alexander County and across the nation. We have a lot going on at the Hiddenite Center as usual. We have arts classes, we have exhibits, we have performing arts for the whole family. So please be sure to participate in what we're doing week by week throughout the month of August.
On July 26th, the Alexander County Library had a repurposed, recycled art show, and all of the entries will be on display at the library for the month of August.
Mel, the arts play such an important part in economic development across our area, our region, and our country, and around the world. When people come together in arts activities, they improve their creative thinking, they improve their problem solving, and this sets up the development of the new leaders across our world. So the arts are very important as people come together, graphic designers, furniture designers, upholsterers, all contributing their own special perspectives on how to improve the world through the work that they do and through their creative activities.
Yes, and the Alexander County Library and the Hiddenite Center have collaborated in the past with our Teen Poetry Happens group. That is a group that's through the Alexander County school system and the Alexander County Library. And that has been really powerful for the teens that we work with, because with poetry and art, you're right, that's the wave of the future, working in graphic arts, using the internet, for instance, you know, for marketing and such. That's a whole new field that's not even really been explored very much.
Well, we look forward to partnering with Mel and all the folks at the library much more collaboratively as we go forward, and are looking forward to special activities around celebration of the arts in September.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that opportunity, and there'll be more information about that in September.
I want to just show you a few examples of some of the neat things that kids in our summer arts program have developed. Beautiful little self-expressions and activities. Whoops. Martha Bergen has helped the kids understand how to throw salt on the watercolors as they begin to dry, which creates wonderful patterns in the washes. So we really enjoy looking at what the kids are producing, what the adults are producing. It's a font of creative activity here.
Just like reading and art can't start too young.
Yep. So please make sure to visit HiddeniteCenter.com to look at all of our activities, to sign up for information, whether it's newsletters or Facebook or Pinterest. We're blessed to be able to publish wonderful content around all of our activities across Alexander County and the center. So come to HiddeniteCenter.com to learn more.
In the 1850s and 60s, slavery was a part of Alexander County's experience. During that time, the slave population represented about 10% of the residents. In 1860, 2 families held more than 20 slaves, and 41 families held only 1. Alexander County records provide a glimpse of the transactions reflecting the buying and the sale of slaves. Sometimes they were swapped. In September 1863, one family traded a 9-year-old boy for an 18-year-old girl. Slaves were regarded as property to be bought, sold, freed, or passed on in their will. The county had specific terms for hiring the slave of a deceased citizen. These were: 1. The slave goes to the highest bidder. 2. The slave was to be treated humanely. 3. Provided 1 suit of summer clothes and 1 suit of winter clothes, in addition to a wool hat, 1 blanket, and 1 pair of shoes and stockings. The owner must pay all medical expenses. No slave was to be moved further than 1 day's travel from the former residence, and could not work in a mine or forge. There is a story about an elderly slave named Harriet Parker. She remembered working hard but being treated nicely. She remembered getting her first pair of shoes. Her master had died, and his wife gave his shoes to Harriet. Most slaves were afraid to wear the shoes of a deceased person, but Harriet said that this was the most wonderful thing that had ever happened to her. There is much more interesting reading about the slavery in the book Alexander Treasures.
Folks, if you love Alexander County and you want to learn more about our rich history, you need to get a copy of Alexander County Treasures. Since December 2012, more than 1,100 copies have been purchased, and there are a limited number of copies still available. The book is only $49.95 plus $3.50 sales tax for a total of $53.45. The book can be ordered by mail. Alex History Group LLC, P.O. Box 279, Taylorsville, NC 28681, or in person at the Taylorsville Times office at 24 East Main Avenue. Copies are also available at Taylorsville Savings Bank in Taylorsville, Hiddenite, and Bethlehem, at Custom FrameCrafters in Taylorsville, and at the Alexander County Ancestry Association. Buy your copy of Alexander County Treasures today. I'm Gary Herman with the Alexander County Economic Development Corporation. We're working on our Buy Local campaign to encourage our citizens and our visitors to support our local businesses and our local economy. This is the Alexander County Business Spotlight. Folks, we're always looking for something fun to do here in Alexander County, and we're out here at Pollard Raceway Park. You can probably hear the go-karts racing behind us here. They're located at 74 Bandit Street. It's off Highway 90 East in Taylorsville. Many of you will remember it as being behind the former Harry Gant Steakhouse. Of course, now it's Captain Pete's Seafood and Steak. It's my honor to have Larry Pollard with us. He's the owner of the facility here. And I tell you, these kids and adults alike are having some fun out here, Larry. So thanks for having such an amusement, it's almost like a mini amusement park here in Alexander County, right?
Well, that's what we try to do. Kids of all ages, 40-year-old teenagers, we'll take them all. It's just something for somebody to do. At the same time, we try to incorporate a little bit of speed in the karts rather than just a ho-hum, drab, slow go-kart track. We try to keep the karts prepped. We try to keep the racetrack prepped so they can slide around a little bit and, you know, just give it a bit of an exciting ride at the same time as giving it a go-kart ride.
Yeah, I've been out here several times and been facing the other direction. Y'all get the track so slick. So it is a good time, folks. You need to come out here to Pollard Raceway Park. Tell us a little bit about your history, Larry. When did you open the Raceway Park here?
Man, it seems like yesterday, but it's been about 14 years now. We just started out building it as we could, just kind of adding stuff on as we went, and we've finally got what we got now. We've tried so many different compositions to try to make the track slick. We've been through cornmeal to Pepsi syrup to so now baby powder seems to be the thing that works the best, and the people like it the best as far as getting in their eyes and stuff. So yeah, we've went through a lot of changes, a lot of I started this business and I really didn't know much about it at the time, and that's probably the worst thing you can do because you learn by trial and error. But through the whole deal, we've come up with a pretty good product, and the people accept it well, and it's a pretty good deal.
Yeah. Now, you've got a pretty extensive racing background here, so tell us about that. That's how you kind of got into this business here, I guess.
Well, if you got a couple hours, I've been in racing ever since I was 4 years old, and come up through the NASCAR ranks. I was crew chief for Richard Petty and a bunch of good drivers over the years. I've won 2 Busch races in the Grand National Series, so I'm real proud of my career. It's over now, of course. My son's coming up now, so racing is our deal. You know, we love racing. I think my son is going to carry the torch for the racing deal from now on, and he's got a gift for it, and we're really proud of him for that. So, and most of that's come from the thousands of laps out here on the go-kart track and the slick track. It teaches you throttle control and car control, so it's worked out great.
Yeah, and it seemed like when we were out here years and years ago, it was maybe vegetable oil that you might have put in the turns. Anyway, you can get on the gas in the straightaways, but you hit those turns, you better let off and be ready to steer a little bit, right?
That was the peanut oils phase we went through, and you're right, it was so slick in the corners, we had to get something that was more consistent. So part of your deal there was learning how to get a track consistent so it's slick all the way around, and that's what I think we've got now.
Right. Well, now it seemed like I saw on your Facebook page that y'all had done some improvements to the track here just recently. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, like every go-kart track owner, I guess, I've looked around at other places. I went to Pigeon Forge one weekend, and every track there that was busy had hills in it. So $20,000 later, we put 2 hills in a bank corner, and it just adds to the excitement. There's lots of other things we could do, but a lot of things determine whether or not you do it or not. So yeah, we did that. We've tried to keep up with things as they go. We got the karts, I think, are very important that you keep them prepped well. You got to keep them the same speed, because if you get a group of people and one kart don't run, they're not going to ride it. You know what I mean? So so that's part of our deal is when people come in here, and when they walk out, they say, man, that was fun. You know, that's our main objective, is just when they leave and get in their car to go home, we want them to think this, man, that was a good deal, that was fun. So that's what we try to do.
And you want them going home, posting on their social media, telling their friends and family, man, we had a great time out there at Pollard Raceway Park. So you do a good job out here.
Well, I appreciate that, and bad news travels a whole lot quicker than good news. So if you make one person mad or discontent about what happened, it'll go a lot quicker than somebody that really enjoyed themselves. But that's all we can do, is just try to give them the best excitement and the best entertaining dollar they spend, you know.
Now, we're here tonight on a Thursday night, and it's Thursday Night Thunder. So tell us a little bit about that special event that you have every Thursday night. Of course, you are a seasonal operation, so you can get into that a little bit also. Yeah,
our Thursday nights were a little slow, so we said, let's do something a little different. And a lot of the people that came out and rode a lot said, well, let's race them, you know, so that's what we do. Thursday nights for $12, you get a 20-lap race, you draw a pill for starting positions. It's just, we run 5 laps caution, 5 laps caution. We do that 4 times, and it's really turned out to be an exciting deal. And now, same as racing, they're getting competitive. So now the guys that do race it are, you know, they really try hard. But at the same time, we don't we don't allow any crazy stuff. Just race as hard as you want, get in there and grind and race hard, but if you start turning people around, you just waste your money, you know.
No bumping, but rubbing's racing, right?
Rubbing's racing, yeah, no bumping.
There we go. All right, and like I said, you are a seasonal operation, so what typical months are you open throughout the year?
Well, absolutely by the weather dictates when our season ends. We usually get in the end of October, and then we'll do private parties all winter long and into January, you know, just because there'll be nice days in there. If somebody wants to come out on a Wednesday night or a Saturday night when we're not open for regular public, we'll do the private parties. And they were a real big hit this last winter, because people say, well, Wednesday night I got my little boy or girl, or my wedding party. We've had 2 or 3 bachelor parties that come out. We're going to go ride go-karts, you know, so call us ahead of time, week ahead of time. We'll set it up. It's not an expensive deal. Keeps the thing going through the winter, and it works out well.
Well, that is a good deal. Now, and it is kid-friendly, right? Do kids race with adults, or do they have their own little separate races, or how does that work?
Well, the concession carts, we got carts for everyone. We've got double-seated for a small child and an adult with a driver's license. All our concession carts require to be 48 inches tall, just because insurance regulations and stuff. And then we also have got kiddie carts, which are just for the small kids, you know. So we can accommodate basically anybody that comes down.
Good deal. All right, final question. What are your hours and your telephone number?
Yes, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday nights, 7 to 11 Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night. Sunday, 5 till 9. That doesn't vary very much over the course of the year. You think, well, why don't they open earlier? The middle of the day in the middle of summer is too hot to ride, so we don't. There's no use standing around here but nobody riding. So, and if you want to do a private party with us, or just call us to find out what our hours are, it's 828-632-0966. 828-632-0966, and usually the recording or the message on the phone will give you all the information you want. If you want to book a party, the number's on there, who to call, and she'll set it up for you, and we'll look after you.
Yeah, and you can also search for Pollard Raceway Park on Facebook for some updates there as well. So, Larry, thank you so much for all you do out here. Folks, we got something that's open here in Alexander County till 11 o'clock during the summer on a few days a week. So come out, have some fun, bring your family and friends to Pollard Raceway Park. Again, they're located at 74 Bandit Street off Highway 90 East in Taylorsville. Buy local, Alexander County. Let's go racing. Boogity, boogity, boogity. To learn more about our Buy Local Alexander County campaign, visit the Alexander County EDC website, alexanderedc.org, or give me a call, 828-632-1378. Buy Local, Alexander County. Of course, you've already heard about the upcoming Alexander County Agricultural Fair in this episode, but be sure to mark your calendars for September 2 through 6. It's going to be a fun time in Alexander County, but there are lots of other things to do this month in August besides the fair. So, all month long, the Hiddenite Center is exhibiting the work of 2 regional artists, Michael Joe Moore of Statesville and Nelson Brookshire of Lenoir. Moore's medium of preference is watercolor, and he loves to paint local landmarks. I'm sure you'll enjoy seeing his rendition of Alexander County's Junebug Train. Brookshire calls himself a folk artist. His medium of choice is rolled paper from magazines, which he groups together to create images. He was featured on WBTV's Carolina Camera in 2013. Come meet the artist during a reception on Sunday, August 3rd from 3 to 4:30 p.m. For more information, visit hiddenitecenter.com or call 828-632-6966. Also, the Alexander County Garden Club meets monthly on the second Thursday at 6:30 p.m. at the Cooperative Extension Center. This month's meeting will be August 14th. From beginning to advanced gardeners, this club is for you. Contact the Extension Center at 632-4451 for more information. The Hiddenite Center will host a crop workshop on Saturday, August 16th at the Educational Complex. This day-long event takes care of all your needs with the exception of your scrapbooking materials and allows you a retreat setting to get those scrapbooking projects done. Beginning at 8 a.m., participants will enjoy coffee, juice, and donuts or coffee cake to begin the day. A croissant sandwich lunch will be served at 12 noon. The cost for the entire day is only $30 for friends of the center, or if you're not a member, $35. The crop workshop is limited to 30 participants to allow for ample space for each person. Call 828-632-6966 to register now. H&H Arena, located off Ned Herman Road in the Ellendale community, will hold another round in their $10,000 roping series on August 16th at 11 a.m. Call 828-302-5310 or visit hharena.com for more information. The Brushy Mountain Mower Sports Association is planning its next lawnmower race on Saturday, August 16th at 6 p.m. at the Taylorsville Lions Club Fairgrounds. It's located off Highway 16 South. For more information, contact Lisa Jones, President, at 828-320-1738. The Hiddenite Center again. They're pleased to present its final installment in the Summer on the Square concert series. Sunday, August 17th, the Idle Time Band will perform bluegrass music. This local band is comprised of Bill Warren, Eric Childers, Jimmy Trevette, John Treadway, and Russell Loudermilk. Visit HiddeniteCenter.com for more details or visit theidletimeband.com to learn more about the band. Thinking about starting your own business? Well, don't miss the free seminar at the CVCC Alexander Center for Education on Thursday, August 18th. The 3-hour seminar, which is free, entitled How to Start Your Small Business, will be offered by the Small Business Center. It will offer an in-depth walkthrough of developing a business concept, evaluating business feasibility, licensing, and financing. This event is free, however, registration is required, so call 828-327-7000, extension 4112 for more information. The Apple City Street Riders will hold a benefit cruise-in on Saturday, August 23rd at Scotty's Hometown Grill on Highway 16 South from 4 to 10 p.m. Come out and enjoy food, music, prizes, and classic autos for a good cause. Call Roy Bentley at 828-244-1842 for more information. The Hiddenite Center continues to keep you entertained with Dancing at the Beach on Saturday, August 23rd from 7 to 10 p.m. at the Educational Complex located at 70 Hiddenite Church Road. With the best wooden dance floor in the area, the Hiddenite Center invites you to come out and enjoy line dancing, shag, ballroom, or whatever type of dancing you enjoy. DJ Dirk Myers will be providing the music. Call 632-6966 for more information. The Alexander County Republican Party is planning the Governor's 5K race Saturday, August 30 at 8 a.m. beginning at Matheson Park. Registration is $30 through August 15th. Visit www.alexandercountyrepublicanparty.com/pdf/gov5krun.pdf to download the registration form. Make your checks payable to the ACGOP and mail them to Jack Sims. For more information, call 312-2575. Command Decisions Wargames Center, located at 74 Regenswood Drive in Bethlehem, will host a paintball event entitled Walking Dead. Sounds like fun, huh? Well, give them a call at 828-495-4155 or visit cdpaintball.com. And don't forget about the Alexander County Farmers Market every Saturday from 8 to 12 at the old hospital parking lot. Lots of fresh local produce will be available. Support your local growers while enjoying the freshest fruits and vegetables around. The turnout for growers and shoppers has been tremendous this year so far. For more information, contact Alexander County Cooperative Extension at 828-632-4451. As for all events, visit alexandernc.com. If you'd like your event listed on the website, email me, glherman@alexandercountync.gov, or visit the website and submit your own event. Come visit Alexander and have a great time.